Into amethyst I pour envy's shadow, sorrow's gleam, lure the one whose scorn I bore that I may hear one final scream.
From 1903 to 1918, the Boston Red Sox were one of the most successful teams in Major League Baseball. After winning the first World Series in '03, they went on to win 4 more in a 15-year time span. During the 1915, 1916, and 1918 championship seasons, Boston was home turf for one of the greatest players ever to play the game, George Herman Ruth. During the 1919 season, Ruth converted from pitcher to outfielder in order to see more playing time, a move that led to him breaking the single-season home run record with 29 homers. After that season, the Red Sox sold Ruth to the New York Yankees, which, according to some, started an 89-year championship drought. During this time period, the Red Sox had some success, but always managed to fall short due to ill-timed injuries, errors, and losing streaks. On August 31st, 2004, outfielder Manny Ramirez hit a foul ball, which struck 16-year-old fan Lee Gavin, knocking out his 2 front teeth. Gavin was a local boy from Sudbury, Massachusetts, who happened to live on a farm previously owned by none other than Babe Ruth. The Red Sox went on to win the World Series that year, leaving many to wonder if the streak may have been broken, along with that pair of front teeth. In life, we can often improve our odds of success with hard work and careful attention to detail. But every now and then, misfortune strikes. It's unavoidable. When things don't go our way unexpectedly, it's easy to feel like we're marked for failure, like something or someone is working against us, like we're simply cursed. In the late 1600s, Moll Dyer lived on the outskirts of what would become Leonardtown, Maryland. She was an older woman and largely kept to herself, but despite this, she became well known in the surrounding area for being a talented healer. Townfolk would often turn to her for remedies for their ailments, and she made a meager living charging for her services. In 1697, though, a severe winter following a poor harvest wreaked havoc on the village. A deadly outbreak of influenza swept through the town, and many feared they would not make it through the winter. As it often happened during these times, frightened townfolk were looking for a source to blame for their suffering. The villagers set their sights on Moll Dyer. Being an outsider, it wasn't a huge leap for many to suspect she had dabbled in witchcraft. One night, a mob marched on Moll Dyer's property and set her house ablaze. Seeing the group coming, Moll was able to escape their wrath by fleeing into the surrounding wood. She ran for miles until her legs gave out. The story goes that in her final moments, Moll laid upon a large boulder and raised her hand to the sky, cursing the town and its inhabitants for their act of hatred. She succumbed to the cold and was found days later by the townfolk, still clinging to the rock, hand outstretched and frozen in place. To this day, the area surrounding Moll Dyer's former home is said to be a supernatural hotspot. Visitors report seeing strange lights beckoning them into the surrounding woods. A spectral dog is said to have caused car accidents along the surrounding roads. Even the weather is said to take violent and unnatural turns if an outsider strays too close to the property. Historically, There were records of blighted crops lasting years after Moll Dyer's death. The stone that would be Moll's final resting place is now on display by the St. Mary County's Historical Society. It's said that a careful observer can still see an imprint where Moll's hand rested on the stone. Visitors often report feelings of nausea or discomfort while viewing the stone. Others have attributed car accidents or small misfortune to their visits. It's said that leaving a small offering for Moll can counteract these effects. Given America's history surrounding witchcraft, there are countless tales like Moll's dealing with accusations, death, and a final curse of vengeance. One of the most infamous is the tale of Bathsheba Sherman. In 1844, Bathsheba Thayer married a wealthy farmer, Judson Sherman. The couple was popular with neighbors, and Bathsheba was known throughout town for her exquisite beauty. They ran a 200-acre farm in Harrisville, Rhode Island, that supplied produce to the surrounding area. One day, a neighbor asked Bathsheba if she would babysit her son while she attended to some business across town. The boy, who was previously healthy, mysteriously died in Bathsheba's care. It was discovered by medical examiners that the boy's skull had been impaled by a small instrument, delivering a fatal injury to the boy's brain. While the case never went to court, rumors began to surface that Bathsheba was responsible for the boy's death. Overnight, she became an outcast. As the town rumblings carried on, Bathsheba birthed a child of her own. Sadly, a week after the birth, her husband Judson walked in on his wife delivering a fatal blow to their child. The murder weapon? A large metal needle. Bathsheba was sentenced to death for the murders. It's said that before being hanged from a tree on the family farm, Bathsheba pledged her allegiance to the devil and cursed anyone who dared live on her property. The story was largely lost to time. That is, until the Perrone family purchased the home in the 1970s. Right away, the Perrones noticed strange happenings within the home. Items would seemingly go missing, sounds would echo from empty rooms, and shadows would be seen out of the corners of their eyes. Soon, one of the children, Andrea Perrone, started reporting nightly visits from a female spirit with a bent and broken neck. Andrea claimed the spirit tormented her and hated her and her siblings. The spirit told Andrea that she was the true mistress of the home, not her mother Carolyn. Speaking to a local historian about the property, the family learned about Sherman, the murders, and most importantly, the curse. Believing they were dealing with a malevolent spirit, the family reached out to demonologist Ed and Lorraine Warren, who you may remember from our Haunted Doll episode. The Warrens conducted a seance to speak with the spirit and drive it from the home. During the event, Carolyn's body contorted into a ball. She began screaming and speaking in an unknown language before violently slamming into the ground. Then, just as suddenly as it happened, Carolyn returned to her normal self. The Perrone family soon left the farmhouse out of concern for their safety. Their story, however, confirmed that Sherman never really left the family farm. Curses in Magic: The Gathering date back to the release of Innistrad in 2011. In Enchantment, curses were unique in that they were an aura that targeted a specific player, not another permanent in play. To date, there have been 42 cards printed with the curse subtype. A common theme among these cards are that the player enchanted by the aura suffers from a lasting detrimental effect. Sometimes this comes from direct damage or taxing effects. Other times, it comes from the form of incentivizing opponents to target the cursed player. There is one card, however, that perfectly captures the flavor of a witch, uttering a curse in their final breath. A Cursed Witch. While initially cast as a creature, its abilities read: spells your opponents cast that target this creature cost 1 less to cast. When this creature dies, return it to the battlefield transformed under your control, attached to target opponent. This ability evokes images of the accusations and death sentences that were common during America's witchcraft panic, as well as a curse being uttered on a final breath. The flip side reads: spells you cast that target enchanted player cost 1 less to cast. At the beginning of enchanted player's upkeep, that player loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. This effect is full of flavor and perfectly captures a witch taking vengeance on their accusers from beyond the grave. Miss Unbound podcast was created and written by Ryan and Xana. Intro reading provided by Cass Hines, and music provided by JJ Mickey. If you enjoyed this episode, please consider following, rating, and leaving a comment. Also, if you enjoyed the pod and would like to help support the channel, consider using our mana pool and nerd gear links next time you order magic supplies. Our links are in the show notes. Finally, we have some new news. I'm now an ambassador for Gerudo. You can now find all of our past and future episodes linked on their platform. Be sure to send me a friend request if you join the site. Most of all, thank you for listening.